Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the 31 Days of King Juggernaut. I'm your host, Karen Stever. And what about Bat? Bat. Hey, Bat, baby. Come see. Come here. Yes. They enjoy you saying hello, so that's why I have to invite you up again. Look at here. Oh, who is that? That baby. We could just do a whole video where I'm just giving her scratchings and love. What do you think of that, guys? Oh, baby, love it. Just scratch all of it, mommy. My hands, look at my hands actually like get lost in her fur. She has become a wolf. Haven't you, Wookie here. Nice, eh? Where can I point that you'll look into the camera? Here? Okay. Thank you, baby. It's always nice of you to say hello to everyone. So hi again. Here I am talking to you about the next puzzle piece that we have. Now I've talked about Ian, who is this main nonverbal 9-year-old savant, who is the main character in the book. And I've talked to you about Chapter 1, The Great Stone Lions. I've talked to you about Chapter 2, The Skeleton Horses of Polypal Island, mouthful. I introduced you to Katie, who is Ian's 9-year-old friend who, just to clarify, somebody said, is what do you mean by mother? Is that Ian's mother? No, she mothers people. She's only 9 years old. She mothers people from her wheelchair. But I say about Katie in her wheelchair that she is not confined to a wheelchair, meaning that she has a vision to look beyond that. Even though she's physically in her chair, she's not mentally confined to it, and her spirit floats everywhere. So that's Katie. But today's puzzle piece is a mouse. And the chapter of the book, chapter 3, is called The Movie Maker Mouse. And so I thought I'd read some more from the book, if you guys are still cool with me reading you some excerpts. If you don't want to hear any of it, then just shut the video off and you don't have to listen to any of this. But if you want to have some, just a little bit of insight into some of the characters ahead of time, it's kind of fun. I don't feel like anything I'm reading to you, by the way, blows the story. Like, it's a 400-page book, so unless I was to sit there and read all of it to you, my reading actually will cause more concern, probably, or confusion than it would being any spoiler. So in this chapter, Ian just moved to a new house. He moved from New York City up to upstate New York, and he moves into this house, and it's old and it's kind of decrepit and it's run down, and he has a little bedroom buddy who is this little mouse. So I thought I would read a little bit from The Movie Maker Mouse to you. Let's start on page 53. Let's go. What did I want to read? Starting with the room was very quiet. Okay. The room was very quiet. No big city or car horns or neighbors. He did hear some wee feet inside the walls and under the floor. It seemed he had friends whether he invited them or not. He peeked out to see a shadow of a tiny mouse with something strapped to his back. He reached to click the light on and slowly sat up to get a better look. He then heard his father's footsteps, panicked, took off one of his socks, rolled it up in a ball, and threw it at the mouse, just as Thomas came in carrying Ian's cello. He looked bewildered as to why Ian had ditched only one sock. "Do you just have one hot foot?" He reached under the blanket at the end of the bed and said, "Oh, your foot is frozen. Can we try to keep the socks on tonight?" Thomas grabbed the balled up sock and put it back on Ian's foot, and Ian was fine with that. Ian sat on the edge of the bed and brushed his hair away from Ian's eyes. So that was Ian's first introduction to his mouse. He sees this little guy, but he's got something strapped onto his back. So you can figure that out later. Actually, I'll read a little bit more from that chapter. I'll read starting with page 55, and I'll read to, okay. Just as he had hoped, there he was, popping up through the hole in the floorboard. This mouse had one solid focused goal: wallpaper. He came up out of the hole, seized a piece, and ran back into the floor. As he disappeared, Ian dropped down on his belly and slithered low like a snake. The mouse would soon appear again, grab a piece of paper, and go back under the wood. You can tell I'm good to read today. Do I need glasses? No, I'm just kidding. You'd think I would just know this, right? I've just been inside it so much. Nobody should read their own books, I guess. He did this several times, and with each stint, Ian inched closer to get a better look. The final time that the mouse emerged, Ian was close enough to see his back. What he saw made absolutely no sense. It was a miniature film camera, much like you would see at the movie house, but oh so tiny. It looked like a toy. It was affixed to him with some baler twine around his belly and tied tightly to his neck. The mouse noticed him, and as they locked eyes, Ian saw horrible images of hundreds of mice and rats in laboratories. They were running in mazes, unable to find their way out, while some were running through the wheels, some were running on wheels and being injected with needles. As Ian reached to clutch him, the tiny timid fellow bolted back into the floor. I'm going to get an A for effort on that and F for actual performance. Terrible. I'm not shutting the video off and doing it again. So that's what you hear. So you start to see from the New York City lines that I read about in chapter 1, where Ian had a run-in with them, and there's cement, but you know, he touches them and he starts to feel their ribs coming in and out, and he feels their heartbeat, and he hears breathing. He hears all this stuff. He has a run-in with them. And I talked a few days ago about that, and but you hear, you know, something like a lion all the way to this mouse, and Ian sees the disturbing history of all these animals that he comes across. It's going to get bigger and it's going to get uglier for Ian. But that's exactly what happens to him. Kind of everywhere he goes, he's just like, I meet you, I see your history, and then it's like, now I'm overwhelmed. And Ian hits his head, and he has, you know, silent temper tantrums. I cannot speak today. I'm a giant failure. And so he has these temper tantrums, and he can't communicate them. And that is the frustration for parents who are on the spectrum, of kids on the spectrum. And, you know, it's a frustration right across the board. But he has a superpower, and we're going to see that come. So that is today's puzzle piece, the Movie Maker Mouse. As I've told you before, I am releasing this big book at Halloween, and then you can read it without messing it up like I did. I'm going to release it at Halloween, but every day I'm going to take away a puzzle piece from the front of the book, and by Halloween I'll show you the full cover of the book. Thank you to everyone who has pre-ordered. That helps me a lot. That really does. It helps me to be able to order lots of books to be able to ship them all out. So that's really helpful. And I'm excited to be able to ship you yours. I'm getting orders from pretty much every continent, a lot of countries around the world. And that's really exciting, because this whole series is going to be 7 books in 7 different countries, including Italy and Japan and Brazil and Japan, Italy, Brazil. What are the other ones? Germany. And India, of course. India! It ends in India. Why do I not know that, right? So it's in all these... Oh, and Egypt. So all these countries around the world. So it's exciting to be able to ship the books around the world, and I can't wait to have the opportunity to put these books into another language. Like, that's going to be just a whole other cool thing. And I'm doing an audiobook and some other things that go with it. So thank you for ordering your book. I'm going to be shipping those really soon. You can pre-order them now, but the release date is Halloween, and that's when we'll all get together and celebrate. And I'm really ever so thrilled for those of you who would like to celebrate with me on Facebook Live on Halloween. So there's my video for today. I hope that you will tune in again tomorrow, where I will talk about the next puzzle piece, which is, the monkey. I have a really soft spot for monkeys in this book. So I'll talk to you about that tomorrow, okay? I hope that you enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks for tuning in with me, even when I'm so tongue-tied and screwing up. I figure you guys love me regardless, and I love you all. And I'll talk to you really soon, okay? Rock on.